So we are live and we are not going to play 5 minutes of music today. Katie, how are you doing this fine Wednesday evening? Oh, she's muted.
He's muted.
Muted. I'm so great. I have some noob questions that make me feel stupid, and I'm hoping you guys can answer them to make me feel smart. And yeah, I'm freaking freezing. It's cold in Canada.
Oh, we got dumped on last night. And there's no such thing as a stupid question. You know, there really isn't. You're never at fault for not knowing what you don't know. How else do you learn it without asking or just being there at the time it's being showed or going to school for it? And from what I know, a lot of people that did this kind of stuff, they didn't teach this in school. So,
And not everybody has a battle station. I'm just gonna say that. So I certainly don't. I'm learning.
Did you see my post today? I totally have a battle station
yeah,
of one 11-inch screen.
yeah, love it.
Hey, what's up, Space Boy? GM.
Space Boy.
Actually, good night. Good morning, wherever you're at.
Definitely.
This is where the day starts, Pope, anyway. So.
Oh, please. This is lunchtime in my world. That 4 hours sleep. Well, we've got a few here. Let's not constantly delay. Let's dig into it. I have been asked about a couple different coins. We'll see what's happening in the market, dig into a couple that we've been watching and a couple new ones that are on the radar. And then it's have a great Wednesday night. Regarding the handout of the algorithms, all of your TradingView, for those that gave them, all of your TradingView handles have been handed over to my dev. So either earlier or after the show, because I told them not to touch anything, they will start to be rolled out. We are in different time clocks as well, but everybody should have them by Thursday morning at the latest in our time. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And I'm still also kind of working on a couple more surprises with those. At America, good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
So that's all kind of news on the wrap up. My goal is by tomorrow's show to have all your paperwork, which is your tracking journals and things. So far, we've been able to nail all the other stuff on the to-do list. And then starting Monday next week, I'm going to make an announcement that I'm going live sometime in the morning, most likely around 10 a.m. PST. And it's not really going to be me with my lasers coming out at you. It's going to be the battle station and a screen share of me going through TA and hunting my entries. It's time for me to go back to work. And when I work, I want to stack my capital. So you get to follow along the way while I do it, hopefully learn a little TA along the way, and hopefully we catch a lot of nice entries. Once we have a lot of the indicators out to you and you've kind of played around with them a little bit, then we'll start the trading series. And like we talked about before, we're going to take 1K, 2,500K, and 5,000K, and we're going to trade both of those in different increments. One set will be all fast trading, in and out days, and the other set will be swing trading, staying in those trades a little longer, hunting for the longer plays if you don't have time to sit in front of a battle station all day. So you can kind of see a different couple of trading styles with the exact similar budgets. And then I may even do, like I said, another 5K. How long does it take to get a place to buy in Asia, which I think would still be fun. So let's dig into it.
Is that just finances, or is that skill level?
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, I don't know what I mean, but like 1,000, it's just like each skill level can roll in with the amount that you're going to be trading with, right?
Yeah, if I see what you mean now. Sorry, like if you're brand new and you're following along, that's one of the best things to have because you're copy trading. And when I'm going into that trade, I'm going to be telling you exactly why I'm going into that trade. My delay is bad. I apologize. So that is good for any level of experience, because I'm going to see things different than you are. You're going to see different things than I am. And if we're doing that live and I have Discord going, you can ask me questions. We can, or you can tell me what you're seeing and we can compare. If there's a lot of people and your indicators and your technical analysis are all saying the same thing about the trade, take the fucking trade, right? And if you have a whole bunch of different confluence and nothing makes sense, find a new one. Never force that trade. Woo indicators, love it. Yeah, they do. They help us a lot. They're like the cheat codes. And when you learn each different one and how those people or how those successful traders use them, it just makes you that much better as a trader. So let's dig into it.
Wait. I'm not allowed to say stupid. So my noob question is simply this.
She
When we
said
are
noobid.
my noobid question, when we are, I'm so embarrassed about asking this, but I'm just gonna ask it anyway. When you're looking at the market cap, when you're looking at the dominance, it looks like a coin because we're watching these candles go up and down. Is that something that people trade?
Not that I know of. There may be funds on that. There may be like side bets on that. That I don't know. I use it all purely as data, how much money is going in and out. There's got to be some wager where you can be betting somewhere that it's going to go down by 50 mil or something. I don't know. I wouldn't know where to look.
Right.
And like somebody asked earlier about coins that have no history. I think that was Space Boy, to be honest. I don't mind taking some of those, but my main goal always, how do I protect my capital? I want more of it every day. And how do I protect it? You don't protect it by taking risk. You mitigate your risk to protect it. So when we're looking at ICOs or all these kind of things, when stuff is just being released, that's high risk. Most of those fail. But the ones that hit and you got in, oh, you want to talk home runs? They're massive, right? But that should only be a very small percentage of your whole trading budget. And say maybe that's $1,000 a year for you. So maybe that's 10 projects at 100. And you pick those 10 projects that you're like, yeah, this might actually work. Especially if you don't have the capital to lose. Why play the riskiest segment if you're trying to stack capital, right? NFTs, high risk. If you followed the NFT crowd for the last year and you were in that ecosystem, that bubble, all they screamed was we were in a bear, right? We weren't. We were making higher highs and higher lows all last year. We just weren't doing it in NFTs. NFTs don't describe the market. Data does. I can go back and show you any market where we made higher highs and higher lows. Did we have pullbacks? Absolutely. We want them. That's healthy. We talk about that. So the market cap shows us how much money is coming in and out for the total amount. The dominance is that key to understand when that money's staying in the market, if it's coming out of Bitcoin and going lower. Because just like we're seeing when that happens, that's where the big gains are. And by big gains, I'm in and out for double digits, low ones, because those are huge. And I mean, I did a call to Supreme the other night in our Discord that, Render looked like it was ready to pop again. And I'm going to show you a few tonight that look like they're ready to pop. And he calls me the next day or, DMs me. He's like, good call, 15%. And take the money and get out. And that's the best part of it. And that's what I mean. Starting Monday, I'm just going to tune in and you can just follow along. Chris will probably be able to help me for the first few and maybe record them or take the good chunks out of them. Because like I said, sometimes trading is like watching paint dry. I'll try to keep it as educational as I can for people that don't know what they're looking at so I can walk through it. Just like I'm going to do now. Any other questions before I jump in?
Let's do it.
Not from me.
Do it.
Let's do this.
I just got to find my cursor. It's all hooked to all my machines. Come on.
I'm excited to see what your energy bill is next month with everything that's plugged in now.
Right. Well, the snow isn't helping.
Oh, yeah. True story.
All right. Hold on. My mouse is being whack. It's connecting to other systems behind me. I apologize.
I think one of the things that Pope has always said is get a mouse and don't use the trackpad if you're on a laptop.
Mhm.
Oh, the amount of traders that have made mistakes because of the trackpad is absolutely uncanny. Excuse me here. I'm just going to switch. I'm going to break things. And I'm going to switch to hardwire. Because technology and me have been fighting for the last few days.
Does it matter what mouse? I mean, I know you're pretty particular about a mouse, but
I mean, you can
really better. Sorry.
You can do it with any tools. Really, what is going on, computer?
Supreme says, "Hello,
Chris. Can you just cancel my screen for a sec, please, and mute me?
Yeah.
I've lost a whole lot of weird stuff going on. I don't have any mouse.
All right, I'm gonna pull you off.
Thank you.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Out of here.
God, sick of that guy.
Get out of here.
Finally.
Here, we're gonna bring up Supreme. There he is. We brought him up. Hello, Supreme. Happy to see you.
I guess
You're
people
looking mighty purple. I like it.
is this not a system like the other one where people can kick in and say hello?
I know,
Oh,
right?
hello.
There I am. Sorry, it was stuck in a screen over there somewhere. That is something sometimes cool with tech. You can use one mouse, one keyboard to control multiple computers. And sometimes it is a pain in the ass. Logitech MX3. What's that?
Ooh,
What's
Mr.
that?
Angle.
So what I like about that, it has the side scroll wheel, so you can go across the charts, the in and the out, and a lot of programmable buttons that are built right in, and it's ergodynamic, feels nice on the wrist, which might not seem like a big deal, but once you start doing this for a lot of hours a day, all those little things make all the difference. I'm going to dig in. Let's share my screen.
Let's go.
We're good?
We're good.
Awesome. So as always, when we start, the total market cap, the dominance, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's just jump right into where the money is going and what we were talking about yesterday. We had our downward channel. We drew our bottom triangle here saying we were going to bounce in this area. Look at that. That's exactly what we did. Right. And we knew our resistance was right where this line is. We're still waiting to come out, come down, retest, and then we're going to see our takeoff. If we don't see that, just like I said before, what's going to happen is we're going to bounce around and we either consolidate and this line becomes broken and we have to do a new one, or we take off in the downwards direction. Those are, for whatever weird reason, our options. And it usually happens in these instances. And that's why we're looking for this wedge pattern, because typically breakout, retest, and out is what happens. And that's what I think is going to happen, because experienced money knows exactly what happened with the ETFs. They were in early. They knew there was going to be news and hype, and they took their profits when it happened. And that's why we had that pullback. Makes total sense. So we know right now we've lost money in the market. That WIC has been pulling up right to this 1.63 trillion area. And we're in healthy time to see the ball of that curl right there of our micro bear that we're still in. We were looking like we were going to take off here, right? But all of our news came out, people took their profits, and it's right now, the dotted white line in the middle of the Bollinger Band is your median price. of all the highs and the lows. We are just a little below median right now. Not an unhealthy spot to be. And by price, sorry, I mean the total volume that's in there. I think, we'll probably pull up to this point here, like I said earlier, the 1.6. So where is it looking and what's it looking like for our Bitcoin?
Do you usually look at all this stuff on the 4-hour or the daily when you're looking at this data? Or do you switch around?
I always zoom out, but I do it so often and my memory is good that if I zoom out on the weekly on a token market cap or whatever, I remember. There's 7 days in a week. I don't need to check a weekly every day if you can remember either the trend, right? But if you can't, check it. It doesn't take long to, right? And then you can see the bigger picture. Like when we talk about money moving out of Bitcoin and going in elsewhere, I mean, that's pretty significant to go from 50, well, let's go to the wick, 54.54 all the way down to the bottom wick, 50.81. So it might not sound like a lot of money at 4%, but what is 4% of the total market cap when it's $1 trillion market cap? That's a fuck ton of money that just went down into alts or left the market entirely. And that's why we always compare the two. So right now we are on in this candle in the 15 starting for this week. You can see we had a little bit of pullback and we're going up. To have what I would like to see here in this week is the same amount of growth back, because what that is an engulfing candle, which means boom, we're about to take off. Now, let's have a look. Actually, I don't want to see that because it's dominance. My bad. I do want it to go down, unless you're holding Bitcoin. Let's look at Bitcoin. Remember this rectangle we drew? There's it on the daily. Yesterday we hit the top, came down right around this wick. If we zoom out, we're right in here. Let's just drop a line there. That one there. Let's look at that wick. We're seeing resistance and support in these areas. Now, this is what I always call quick and dirty. When I do this live, when I do this for myself and it's not live, I zoom in and I try to get these areas as accurate as I can. But if we're looking at our trend pattern that we're talking about, even on the daily, we've been consolidating in this bottom triangle here now. This would be our line for the base of that. So that's where we've been. This candle needs to either go up, come back and retest this down. If it doesn't, boom, we're going here. And now it needs to come out down here, and we're probably going to have to look at this lower value as our next line of support. I would like to think that somewhere around the world is going to wake up today and see that 42.6 is a sale, and we're going to start to draw this up. Why do I think that? Very little spread, very little price action. I'd like to see that curl, and then we get our micro bear to our micro bull mark, right? And when we can do that, we're off to the races. And if we know the dominance is going down, we know the alts are running. If the dominance is going up and money's coming in, maybe it's time to short the alts or just hold Bitcoin or Ethereum. Let's look at Ethereum now. So same thing from the week. I've left all the drawings on. What were we looking for? What we've been talking about. We had our up, our bounce in this triangle. What do we need to do? We need to break out, retest, and take off. This here was your entry. We talked about that. This here on Bollinger is telling you an exit. This here on our micro bear bull is telling you, this micro bull tool is telling you it's time to go back down. Technical analysis gave us the entry right here. Our indicators and understanding how to use them gave us our exit right there.
So it wouldn't have been if we had bought in kind of around the 15th down there. What is that percentage end up being? Before I interrupt again.
That there in 12 hours was 2.34%.
So if you had bought in with the red and green kind of on the 5th, on the 5th, I'm talking about earlier, like on the 15th, like back.
Okay.
Down in there, would you have just held it even a little further? Because we had a red green out there on the 15th.
Yeah. I don't want to do that because we've been keeping it. Hold on. You're right. We did. So that would have been an entry. And if you're watching, I want to make sure I'm on the right tool. So here we did have that entry. You're absolutely correct. Right. And then we can see this is support and resistance, this line in here. And if we zoom out, we can tell we're going to be in this area with wicks. That was a hunt. Right. So it makes sense. Like I said, these wicks here came down to this level. They did here. We have it here. All right. So now is this going to consolidate in this area on the 4 hour? Let's use the wicks. Why not? If that's our consolidation here, we broke out and we got back in. So it makes sense that somewhere in here will be our price action. It could fall as low as this support. And that's what this line was that we drew earlier in the week. Retested out, healthy pullback, right? We also know right now from what we were talking about yesterday when we got into more TA than I thought we would, we have a parallel channel. So if we come back, which looks like we have strong buy pressure, that's what these wicks are telling us, strong buy pressure. All we need Ethereum to do is come out, retest, and then we're going to get to these different lines of support and resistance. And if we measure those, we can go, okay, the next one's probably to here. There's 0.39, somewhere in there, 0.12, and somewhere in there. And if these are on the 4 hours, and this is taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's probably going to take a few days to rebound. But sometimes crypto does it up and down in a day massively. And that's why if you're in and out on the short time frames, you really want to be watching. But like when we said, if we were doing our trading series that's about to start, if we were looking at the slow trading, would I be getting in right now? Absolutely not. We're starting to curl. If we look at the daily, we need this to go up to support for resistance here, resistance here, to change our micro curve of the bull to the other direction. If we don't move up, that's not going to curl up. So, when I'm looking for these entries for us, well, for me, that you guys get to come along for the ride, I'm looking for, like I've been saying all week, what is the likelihood of the breakout retest taking off? And then what is that percentage from here to here? And if you're just trying to master the small percentage, that's a good percentage. If you've already mastered these smaller ones and you're good at zooming out and you're good at, in and out, that's when you can start looking at, some of the alts. And we'll go through all of that. Any questions so far on this part?
I have no questions. I'm just really excited to see what happens with ETH by Monday when we come back.
Right. And that's the fun part of this too. Like when we're calling this, and I mean literally, like we're calling this, it plays out the majority of the time with our indicators and understanding technical analysis. And Mr. Hilly, I don't know if he was here, he was saying, like, I used to blow his mind all the time because I would get within a few figures of prices of Bitcoin. It wasn't voodoo, it was support and resistance and understanding how the market's moving, right? And where the money is flowing. And then you make educated statistical guesses, like we've been looking at Casper. And this is the markup if we look on a 4-hour that we were doing. And this is, for lack of better terms, the clusterfuck on this time frame that we've been marking out. Let's zoom in. What has been happening? All right. So we knew we were talking about these 3 touches on a downward channel and then the retest and taking off. So we made that there. I'm going to start cleaning this up so we can make it a little more sense. So we know.
Thank you. I appreciate it because I can barely see anything.
Right. So we know we've made it. It stayed in formation where we wanted. And now let's look back at what we were doing again. We said we were going to bounce in this triangle. What were our options? Right. I'm going to get rid of these 2, our parallel channels on the smaller time frame. Our options were, like we said, we're going to bounce in this area. Here is our triangle. Sorry. Here is our triangle. We either consolidate in this rectangle like we drew, we retest and break out, or price falls. And we even had this blue line from back here that took that wick. And now we're up here. Now we're in that same situation. And that's why we said, worst case scenario, if this doesn't retest and go, we're coming down here. I mean, we were off by a few cents, but now we can start to see that curl. So let's take care of that of the retest. That was probably on a shorter time frame, and let's get rid of this line here now because we broke that trend. We can see we're coming up into that curl. We didn't get quite the entry, but Bollinger is not always perfect, right? Hella entry there, hella exit, but it's not always perfect. That would have been a great entry. That would have been a great exit, either one. This would have freed up your capital faster. Space Boy had a victory today. He took this information on when to get out. He took his profit. What did he say? He said by cashing out and waiting, it fell 3%. Now he's sitting on dry powder and capital, or he or she. Sorry, I'm assuming he is a boy. They're sitting on the capital, dry powder, whatever you want to call it. It's all on hand. And if you want to trade that same token because that ecosphere, just wait for your next entry. And you're going to just continue to stack your capital in that coin. But if there's not another entry in that coin and you're there just to stack capital, don't marry something. Phantom.
Hey. Don't you attack the Phantom.
I'm just saying, you learned what catching falling knives were.
I know, but I still love it.
Right? You just don't marry them. Get in, get out, and stack capital. I marry capital. I don't marry projects. I'm looking for good projects because worst case scenario, if it shits the bed, it's a good project. It's not a shit coin. It's not that I'm not going to get my liquidity out. It's my liquidity is tied up for a while. That's a major difference. Protect your capital, right? And if you were doing it properly, you would have had enough cash on hand to buy that drop you missed, wait for the consolidation, buy, and then now you've dollar costed your entry. And it's going to take you less time to free up your capital and make profit. And that's why all these strategies exist. You know, you go all in, it's no different than being at a poker table. Even with what we were showing you on the parallel channels up and down or the triangles, and when they don't follow that formation, we know they can break. So if you did get in here and you missed your sale and you panicked, you're still holding here. You lost all that time where your capital could have been working for you.
So at what point in there, let's just say that you had done this, you had gotten in around the 13th, 14th ish, and you had missed the sale. What would you have, like, when would you have sold it immediately when you realized, like, if you had gone up, it was coming down, you would have sold it at any point?
No, like that's where your risk and your tolerance comes in. If you're prepared and have cash on the side and you have faith and you've looked at the full history and you just missed the cash out and it's come back down, if I'm in profit, if I got down in here, like you said on the 13th, and it's coming down here, if I'm in profit, I'll take profit. I'll take profit every time. I've freed up my capital and I have more of it. It might not be as much more as I wanted, but I'm now not in my capital tied up, even if I have to buy more or wait to make capital again. So I'm losing time with my capital. If you're losing time with your money, you're not making money. You're not stacking it. And this is what I'm trying to teach through the smaller time frames is to stack it. Because if you stack it, it just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. When I gave that example of 4 trades a week, 5%, 3 months, 48 trades, 25% failure rate is 60 trades. And that's a 10x. Start with 1,000. 1, 2, 3 months, 10,000, 1, 2, 3 months, 100,000, 1, 2, 3 a mil. Nothing in that whole process ever changes. What's going to change, which I said in the modules, is you. Because as soon as you put that 100 grand on the money, that's a lot of money. Nothing's changed. That's why I say we got to always focus on percentages. Because 100K is a lot of money. Let's be fucking honest. And if you have it on the line, it can feel gross. But if you go, hey, I've lined this up. These are the odds of what it looks like it's going to happen. It makes it a lot easier. You know, you don't focus on that point and just continue to stack. So when we look at Casper, we know we broke that formation, but we hit the line that we were talking about. That's why we dropped that blue line. This is where we first started talking about it. And if we were to enter, what would happen? Right? It's all been textbook. You know, so now we know this bottom blue line. Let's just change it. We know that's our support now. So if this is our support area, and let's go off the bottom wick because we got a bottom wick here. And this is the line we're trying to break. I'm going to get rid of this because we've broken that. It's still a consolidation area. But if you want to keep it clean so it's easy to see, what are we going to do? We got So when we do our lines and triangles, you go from the last high point to where it fell. So there's our 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. We broke out. So what we'd like to see over the next few 4 hours is the next candle here to come out, retest, and go. If not, it's going to play out this pattern that we just had in this triangle right here. And that's where we just deleted that line. We broke pattern and it fell. And that's why I said the last few days, don't get married to your TA. It's still the same pattern in the big side. What we got wrong there, or right, because we talked as that as an option, is the time frame. We have the crystal ball to what's going to happen. We don't have the crystal ball to when it's going to happen. And if you're prepared for either situation on the side of when, you're going to win. You know, it's not luck. It's where preparation meets opportunity. We're seeing an opportunity again. We're starting to curl. We damn came close to an outer band. We're in the triangle. All we need to do is, like we talked about on Ethereum earlier, break out, retest, and we're off. And if we get that retest, that's where we purchase. Our next bounce is where we cash out, stack the little percentages.
You and Supreme tend to have this ability to, even before you draw anything, and I appreciate you drawing it all out for us, but you and Supreme tend to be able to look at it and go, oh yeah, you know, and just because you recognize these flows. So instead of drawing it all out, you know.
And like I said, that will come with experience over time. That will come with watching. I have to do this to make money. So I'm going to start doing this because I'm done doing all these modules, doing the legal work, all the building. I can go back to doing what I do. Now you guys can just come along for the ride and you can watch what I'm looking for. And I'm going to show you in a set, right? So when we zoomed out before, we made this parallel channel. Make sure I'm on the right tool. 1, 2, 3 touch, right? We need to come out. We need to come out, break, and take off. It works in both directions, right? But we held the line of higher highs and higher lows. Did we have pullbacks? Yeah. This is why we've been in a bull. I mean, when I was saying earlier, we've been in a bull all year. That doesn't mean all alts either, right? But if we would have got in when I said in 23 to get into the market in January, you can't tell me we didn't go up. Now the summer ran this down because there was so much profit. This is an alt. This is not a major coin. And if you're sitting here holding a bunch of it and you got in this area of consolidation and you rode it up, you didn't get taken out at the first pullback of people taking profits. That's 132%. Absolutely, you're getting out. Now you're probably going to short it because these people know how to play the game. They eat lamb. That's why I always talk about the sheep, right? So when we look at Casper and we start zooming in, we're seeing these nice, healthy ups, retracement consolidation, healthy up, retracement consolidation, healthy up, retracement consolidation. We want to break this because we haven't yet. If we don't, that's not good. Now, we might come down a bit under here because we're about to enter that micro bear. And that's when we start looking for when that down comes. Is it going to be here at this support? Is it going to come all the way down here at this support? I doubt it because why? It's holding that trend of the median going up. If this doesn't hold this blue line, sorry, I'm going to take those drawings away. If this doesn't hold, not only this breakout for a retest here, and it breaks this line, and it doesn't hold, in these areas, it's coming down. And when altcoins crash, 7%, 14%, 25%. And that 14 to 25, not a lot of difference in support resistance. So when you have those big ups, you have those big downs. It makes sense. Oops. I don't know why that happened.
Speaking of big downs, we should go back to somebody who was talking today on the chat about Curve.
Curve, I brought it up. I mean, look at this just from a far view here. I mean, high, came down, consolidating, building compression. We were talking about compression last time. Now, this is when it first came out. And if you bought in as an ICO and you bought it in for pennies, why wouldn't you cash out here? And hence why we had this. Let's look at price action without anything on it. You know, if we look in the past, of course, people took profits. People were still excited and the project went back up. People cashed out. Then we have this long period of consolidation. Why? New project, and they're building. If it's good people, you can go on your coin market cap. You can research the project. You can find all the news all about it. Who are the founders? And if this is a good project, which I'll be honest, this was just thrown out by Lord Desse, and I trust his opinion because he's been showing me stuff. When you're a good trader, you recognize other good traders. You know, like respect the different viewpoints because you're going to learn too, right? Just be a sponge. So he brought this to us. This is an old token. This is 4 years old. This team has been working, right? Then we got, boom, we got our little runs in and out of this. Now, this might not look like much in big when we're looking at it like that, but, you know, healthy pullbacks, right? And you can see where these points here are support and resistance over here, right? And if we start to look at what was going on in this and just where we are current day, the green line price 0.0524, next candle 20 some odd hours, 16 minutes, and just going to use the current price to the wick. Let's obviously ignore the times. That's 1180% if it gets back to that high. Who knows what it is at the $24? Will it get to that again? This is where we have to look at the total market cap of this particular token. If the market cap is, you know, short, and there's space to invest in it, it's been going on this long, experienced traders are looking at this, right? And if it has that capacity with market cap and that's a 5,000% return. And we can see, look at all this support right here. Look at all that support. So is it going to, you know, drop much below this? I would probably think not.
It's so interesting. It really, from this viewpoint, looks like nothing has happened. Look at the coin, and I'm like, well, good job,
Right.
guys.
And then when you start to zoom in on the daily, let's look what's been happening since the beginning of 22. We went up, and this is what he said in the Discord. Bam. It has just been on this downward spiral, right? So let's look at a little bit of TA here. Okay, so what we have here, I'm going to take off the indicators. is we have our last localized high, which was February 2023. And we can go off the wick if you want. All right. Did we get a touch here? No. But why does it come down and go back up? Because this is a fucking sale. People know this token, know there's support and resistance back in the history. They're going to buy. It's going to go up. They're going to sell. This is all healthy up and downs. Now, it's in a downward spiral lately for sure. All right. But what do we have here? You know, we have 1, 2 touches. We have compression. We've been consolidating now in this area. Let's draw a box of where this area has been consolidating. I mean, we can draw a big one. We can go, it looks like most of that price action has been in this area.
It looks like it came
In
out,
there.
retested, and popped back in again.
And then
Is that
pop
a
back
normal
in.
thing? Yeah.
Right. And if you start drawing, good point. Look at that. You know, there's your 3 touches right there. From that local high. There's our high. Whoop. 1, 2, 3, out, took off. All right. Now it did pull down all the way, compression. So technically that there could have been your retest. This is where a little TA gets a little confused, but we're also on the daily. Actually, there's your 3 touches. 1, 2, 3. Broke out, came back down, held this line, broke out, and then really took off. But if we look at the bigger picture of what's going on, it's probably easier just to delete it. We're having this nice compression. We have a nice triangle here already. We're having the support, you know, stop loss hunts, resistance. Our last localized high. This mouse is weird, right? If we go to our last localized high, 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, we need this to come out like it kind of has, come back, and then we're probably going to hit a couple resistance points. This one here, then this one here. Then we can readjust where those points become, and then we're looking for more. But this is where we're at right now, 1, 2, 3. So what is that? I can't tell just quickly by looking at it, but current price to there, 2.99. To there, 7.36. To here, 14.23. And if we start to look at how long is this taking, that's only 15 days on the daily. You know, a couple of weeks. Now that's not measuring the percentage. I'm just measuring time. So now when we zoom on the 4 hour from setting this up on the daily, what a story. 1, 2, 3, didn't quite retest. So is it going to hold this line and break out from here? What we're looking for down this whole line is somewhere out of this line. We need a retest to go up. That's when I would enter. And we'll keep this one on. This is a great example. Let's see what happens.
I'm gonna read you something quickly that makes no sense to me.
All right.
Tangle said CRV, heavy inflationary token used for LP incentives.
Liquid protocol. So
Ah.
this, when you go into CRV, is a DAO. Personally, I'm not a fan of DAOs. That's another episode later. And you'll get into it. But yeah, it's a liquidity pool, which means you're investing in money to lock up for them to do what they need to do with that DAO, whatever that DAO has decided. Decentralized autonomous organization is a DAO. Sometimes there's too many votes built in, and too many people having a voice makes things go nowhere. But if you're just trading in and out, there's Curve, there's Lido, there's a few DAO coins. I've done well in some. I haven't done well in some because, you're also using a little bit of the mentality there. Another one brought up today was Rune. Somebody talked about, right? This is a prime example of a 1 week. Boom, compression, take off, people taking profits. Makes total sense. You got in anywhere in this compression, let's just go to the bottom of the compression, and you got it up there, why the hell wouldn't you?
Sheesh.
Right? 700 and some odd percent. This is a hella token for that. It's on Thorchain. You can always, like I said, you can go into crypto market cap. You can see this beautiful foundation right there. It's going to tell you the exchanges, any news that has to deal with it, and then the same thing, who's behind it, what's it all about. And when you're going through this is your source of truth. So when you're digging in here and you're like, say, maybe you don't know who the founder is, but they have a LinkedIn, go check it out. If they have an impressive portfolio, that's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. It's like Gala to me. If you look at the team behind Gala, it's insane. And what's it trading at? A few cents. I used to ride in and out of Gala like crazy. I'd double up my money sometimes over hours. So when we're looking at Rune, and this is on the weekly, right? So the weekly is giving us the big picture. If we're looking at the big picture and we're understanding, and we're not even using indicators here, these last few examples.
Go back inside. I'm doing this. I cannot help you.
Just a hint of parenting came through there.
Children. I love it. Right?
Dude, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
I've been muted the whole time, and the one time I wasn't, this kid came out.
It's the way, man. It's the way. So we're looking to retest right out of this on the weekly. We haven't. And if we do, it might not seem like much when you're looking at it. Say we retest somewhere in here and we got to our next level of support, 27%. Right? And when we add our indicators, what's it telling us? Critical fear going down. Now we want to look at that consolidation, or we're going to have the micro bear go back to the micro bull. And those lines might be thick. We don't know. It might be that thick. If we know the lines are spreading far apart, we know price action is going down more. If they're nice and narrow, we'll get consolidation. Right? And you can go back and look, where is that support and resistance? Right? Resistance. So support. Almost resistance there. Support there. You probably move it down a bit. Like I said, quick and dirty. So it probably makes sense if we're on a downward channel and we don't retest this, that we're going to retest these support lines. So if I was getting into this, just cleaning it up, sorry. This is what you have to look forward to when I do this live. We can change our TA because we're on a different time frame. And we know we go from the height. We can already see on the daily 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. And remember when I said this can go on for, typically it's always 3, which is weird. And then after 3, I find it's 5. What is this telling us? 1 entry, Would you take that entry? No, it's a normal pullback. When we still have this, we have a curl here. I would take that entry there, and look what happened. It popped. And if you're not getting greedy and you took this entry here and you didn't even, okay, so the top of the pop, 7.5%. If you're just mastering lower percent and you can still see it's going down, take the money and run. Take your profits. All right. But the only way I'm getting right now into this is I'd probably short it down to one of these lines until I start to see those curves. But I'm not a shorter. It's not my thing. You know, I'll hunt for the longs. I find when you start to get successful in any kind of leverage, whether it's small or not, it's a hook. And I'll take smart capital, smart money.
Oh, sorry. Targaryen, did I say it right? It's been a while since I've said it, and I apologize if I didn't. Targaryen was asking about the Battlefield Tomorrow trading live. I think that was starting next week. No?
Yeah, that's starting Monday. We were looking at honestly doing the daily fix twice. We were going to do 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. to help with the different time zones. But when I'm looking for my entries, when I'm hunting, I'm looking at the DOM. I'm looking at the money flow. I'm looking at what's all happening. And I'm doing that with every hour. And since I have to do this because I want to make money, you know, you can follow along. But I understand most people have day jobs. I used to have day jobs. I used to work my ass off. I learned this. I got bored. I'm going to be honest, because most of my friends have day jobs. You can only golf with people 20 years older than you for so long. You can only sit at a bar and have whiskey for so long, you know? And that's literally kind of how this project began, because people started taking it seriously. Oh, it's not a scam. Oh, you're doing well. What are you doing? And this is all I'm doing, this whole system. And like I've always said from day one, I don't know it all. I mean, Lord Desi's already taught me stuff in here. And we have other experienced traders in here. Supreme Crypto's in here. This guy nails his TA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same with Amir. You know, we can learn off of all of each other. I'm a little blessed that I can just sit in front of this as long as I want to. I don't care if you tune in or not. I got to do it either way. One of my favorite YouTube videos is a guy that goes on in the street of New York, and he has 1 ounce gold bars. He just tries to give it to somebody, and they don't take it. But what's crazy is they'll go chase a shit coin or a scam or that instant gratification. You want wealth? It's really easy to do. It's work. I'll show you how to do it, and you'll learn it fast. Right? But if you want to chase hopium and shit coins, go for it. Maybe one day you'll hit. I mean, right now we have the king of shit coins, in my opinion. Remy Rai. He's made a few calls in our Discord already that have been awesome. But do I want to chase those? It's not smart capital. Would I throw a couple $100 at one every now and then? Yeah. And I've hit a few home runs. I've also had years where I've hit nothing, but I'm only wagering $1,000. And when you get to the point of where you've mastered that small capital, say your bag's $100K and you're playing with that, and you've mastered 10% a day, $1,000 isn't a big deal anymore. But if you're starting with $1,000 and you're putting 200 or 250 into shitcoin, have fun at your day job. You know, I don't need to be a dick. It's the reality. You know, I can show you a method where you can stack your capital, you know, but as the old cliche and saying goes, you can lead a horse to water. I mean, Chris has helped me. The Crypto Katie helps me try to present all this information. I can't unlearn what I know, if you know what I mean. So Katie gives us that fresh perspective of a new. Chris takes my, 2-hour tangent into a 15, 20-minute video that we break up into 4 parts so it's digested. I couldn't do it without these two to do this for you, and I'm sick of watching my friends and my family and other people struggle with this finance shit when this is on the doorstep. Are you going to learn it overnight? No, it's like a language. It's like Spanish, right? But can you learn it within a year? Easily. If you have a trade, if you've gone to school, if you have anything, you can do this. The hardest part is the emotion. And when you have a group helping you, the emotion becomes a lot easier. And you just stack all these percentages. So that's the hour mark. I'm always trying to be conscious of that. Any questions, any thoughts, any markups? When I'm on screen doing all this, I can't see anything. I don't know what's going on with all of you. It's not a personal thing. But that's it. We're at the hour. Any other questions? Chris?
Oh, man. It looks like we've answered most of the things that have come through. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked that the coins we looked at. We looked at a couple new things today, which was interesting.
You want
So I
one last
appreciate it.
teaser?
One last what?
One last teaser?
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is a prime example what I'm looking for when we're doing this, right? I'm looking for that compression. I'm looking for where we've had those touches. I'm looking for when we're about to bottom. When we start looking at good tokens, and these situations, let's say we're probably going to go down to this area, which I think we will. So I'll probably be entering fetch in these low 60. I'll probably be getting out of here. And I'll bet you I'll do that in not a big time frame. And that's 16%. I'll do this all day with the token list I have. And I'm trying to teach you how to do 5. I've mastered the 5. I've mastered the 10. Have I mastered the 20? Not quite yet. But I do double-digit percentages quite often, and I stack them. And that outweighs any of this shit and any shit token. I'm glad you're along for the ride. Ask questions. And could I do solar AVAX when I get a chance? Absolutely. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow night for you. And if I have tomorrow day free time, once I get all this little stuff that I am preparing, I'll do it in there and I'll drop it in the Discord for you so you can see it. I just don't want to make promises that I'm going to do that. So at the very latest, you'll have it tomorrow night for the show, and we'll just do it live as we go. And then you'll get an example of how fast I can do TA when you ask.
And you too can be playing golf with people 20 years older than you.
I do like picking up the rounds every now and then. Fun. But thanks again, guys, for showing up. We seem to have like the regular crew from what I can see now that I'm not sharing a screen. And honestly, it makes it worth it for me to do it, and like I said, I got to do it either way. So I really appreciate what always helps us is getting the awareness out there. So if NFA is tweeting, the love and the retweets really help, because what we want to do is we want people that want to learn. And as Chris has said, if you're in here and you're not doing anything, we'll yeet you so we can find somebody that does want to learn. We can only help somebody at a time. We're all new. It's just starting. And there's only a few of us that are actively engaged. When we get 500 or so, I don't want to pretty much go over that, because that's a lot of questions when people start getting engaged. If you don't know, me and one of our moderators, Ski, we helped build Rarity Sniper back in the last bull run from 10,000 people to over 600,000 in their Discord. So we have the Discord experience. We have experienced traders. I'm going to be doing it live. And we haven't missed anything. If you're thinking you missed a bull run, don't listen. Don't listen. Listen to the data. Let the sheep do sheep things, and we'll have lamb for dinner.
Let's go.
Sounds good, man. That's speaking of which, I think you have a dinner to get to.
Yeah, man.
I do. Thank you. Hot date tonight with one of my best friends. He's taking me out to dinner. So again, I appreciate all of you. I appreciate the questions and you taking your time to listen to me ramble. And see you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m. I'm by myself having to do this, and hopefully Primo will make it because Chris takes Thursdays off. I typically take Wednesdays off, and we'll go from there. But again, thanks for your patience while we figure all this out. And we try to make it as streamlined as we can for you. And we're learning as we go. Order the rack of lamb. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Do that.
Yeah.
Good
I
call.
have a little
That's
lamb. You'll see it on my desk with the other screen. I have a little lamb Lego to remind me, or a little sheep Lego, I should say.
Man, make sure your friend's paying. That sounds delish.
Yeah.
Right. And we were all there. Let's be honest. We were all sheep at one point. And if you've actually noticed my PFP for NFA, it is the sheep with the, the cross going through that. And you'll learn that sheep is actually Richard. Richard posts our news and is a bot. I didn't know Richard had AI. They got him talking last night. I thought we were hacked all of a sudden. I was like, what the? So it was neat to see. It's neat to see people having fun and engaging. On that note, thank you. Peace out.
Later, everybody. Thanks.